We're live.
Oh, it just keeps getting quicker and quicker.
Oh, and she just left us. Well then, we'll wait for Victoria to join because I still think we're live on Facebook. So give us a couple minutes. Technical difficulties. Uh-oh.
It doesn't matter. I think we're live. Hello.
We
Hello,
are live. Yep.
The devil is a lie. You hear me? Because I'm telling you, too much has been happening today. I'm Victoria L. And above me, we have my sister, Maggie. Say hello to people. And then below me, Maggie, introduce who we have.
Yes, we have a beautiful couple. We have Miss Alicia and Mr. Ray Tiller. I met Alicia at my cousin's bridal or bachelorette weekend, and I loved her energy. I loved her spirit. And of course, we were already talking about love and couples. And she said she had been married 23 years. I said, who been married 23 years? She don't even look. I said, who has been married 23 years? So I said, oh, they would be the perfect couple to come on and share their story with us. So Alicia and Ray, welcome to the Waiting Game Chapter 35.
Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
You are very welcome. So we're going to throw it to you guys. And if you would just tell us a little bit about yourselves, maybe how you met, or just a little bit about your love story, we would love to hear it.
Yes.
So Ray and I met, the weird part, in middle school. Yeah. So we met at the Boys and Girls Club. I was a cheerleader, the hot. And then I saw this little cute face here with his shirt off, y'all. So it was football.
Okay.
Yeah.
You all along.
And so that's kind of how we met, and we kind of been together ever since. What do you think?
Yeah, she was stalking me, and I couldn't lose her.
Is that how the story really goes? You agree you were stalking?
No, I wasn't stalking him, but I just saw the little football player out there, cutie patootie, and our friends, of course, we're in 8th grade, so our friends was like, oh, she like you. And one of my friends went and told him that I liked him, and then I got his number, and then we just did phone, and we went to 2 separate schools. Okay. And then our senior year, he came to my high school, and my mother-in-law is in the background, but the reason why she's like, please tell him why. He came to my high school because, your girl was a dancer, and so he wanted to be around me. And then per my mother-in-law that's in the background, we had to do a couples dance together, and he had to be in it. He didn't want any other guy to dance with.
So wait, his last year he transferred. Yeah. For all of those reasons.
Oh wow.
We're gonna keep
it like just that. To follow you. Okay.
You know your girl.
I love it.
All right. I ain't mad at it.
So let's take it back to middle school.
I had to follow my future wife.
Did you know that though when you was that age?
I did.
Gosh. That lady in the background, all right, mama. All right.
Mama in the background said, I did.
All right.
Not at that time, but once we got older, we were high school sweethearts, so it was only right.
So with high school sweethearts and started dating, I guess 8th grade, did you ask her to officially go steady or be your girlfriend, or how did that transpire?
I think so. I think I asked her out 10th grade.
Yeah, it was like 10th grade.
11th and 12th. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. My mother over there, she wants us to say that we went to our junior and senior year prom together, which we did.
Okay.
So it was destined. It was destined.
Mm-hmm.
So after high school, how did that play out? Did you both go off to college, get jobs, or did you stay in the same city? What was that transition from high school to real life?
So the interesting part is our senior year, I became pregnant.
At the end of our senior year,
I became pregnant. And then we both graduated. I stayed home because I was pregnant and I didn't go off to school. Ray went off to school, and then his freshman year, after his freshman year of college, he came back home. And so we, at that moment, we knew we were pregnant with a child. We had our first child at 18 years old. And so it was just destined. We just wanted to make a family. We wanted to make it work. We tell our kids now, our oldest is 25. We tell them that we were surviving. We just knew that we wanted to be together. It was puppy love that really turned into real love. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And we just knew how to survive and make it work for one another. So I think that's how our destination became. It's not the typical, oh, I saw him, he saw me. We had to learn how to love each other. I think a pivotal part in our life when we both went away to school, because we're from Miami, Florida. We both went away to school, and remember the guy that it was the Native American guy. He did something special with us, and then we knew he was like, if you, what was it that he did?
So when we went to school in South Dakota, so I going back to prior to us, after my first son back in '95, he was born. So '98 we moved to South Dakota, and when we moved up there, we decided to get married. And oh my gosh! So we got married
because on our clarification on it, then we got pregnant again for our second child, and my mom in the background, she was like, "Then I told y'all to get married." So that's
right.
So you had the second child prior to moving to South Dakota, or when y'all went to South Dakota?
when we moved to South Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So my brother had a coworker at the time. South Dakota is a big Native American population, and at this job we worked, it was a Native American, and he was kind of a spiritual guy. And he came over to my brother's house, and one day we were all over there, and he did this thing for us, and he was like, "I'm gonna read you guys, and I want to see if you guys are gonna be together forever." And one of the things he did, it was like he did something, and he had us like basically put our hands together, and then he like said, if you guys pull your hands apart, and if you like, you should feel a string that you're like pulling your hands apart when you did this. And when we did it, we actually felt like what he was telling us. And it's so weird. Like, it's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I don't know. It was kind of crazy to think, oh man, you know, whatever, you know, that's not my background. So whenever he, okay, yeah, whatever. And like he did it, and it was like we felt it.
Mm-hmm.
We felt the connection.
How old were y'all?
How
old were y'all when this man was talking about your hands?
It had to be like 22, 23.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we actually got married. I was 20, he was 21. And it was originally, so we don't have even though we puppy love and knew we love each other, we got married because we now are on our second child.
Yes.
So of course, traditionally for your family, they're like, you're pregnant again. His family, like, you got her pregnant again, you need to get married. My grandmother, right. I grew up in the church household, traditional. So she's like, she wanted me to get married at age 18. Once I had my first child, but we were like, I don't know about no marriage, you know. But now that we had our second child, we was like, well, we do need to make this work. So
we did. And it was the right decision.
So do you think did you feel pressure from people from the family, like, hello, y'all, stop playing with these kids?
For me, I didn't feel the pressure. I knew she was, I don't know, it was weird because I feel like I always knew that she was the one. And my mom said she always knew she was. I proposed to her the same year we ended up getting married, and it was just like I knew she was the one that I wanted to be with.
Alicia, did you always have that same, you knew as well?
Yes, I did. Yeah, he was my best friend. So someone in high school that I always can laugh with, and that was very key for us to be each other's best friends. So in high school, even though we're very now that we're older, we realize how immature we were. But at that time, he was my best friend. So yeah, I at least I thought that I knew that he was the one for me, and I felt that.
That's awesome. I think this, Victoria, is this our first high school love? I think this is our first middle school.
It
high
is,
school love.
we're on the 4th season. Yeah.
Yeah.
You are the very first. Oh, okay. So I got questions about that because I feel like I'm glad you made that statement, Eldisha. I'm glad you made that statement. Like I know when I was 18, please. I thought I was gonna get married at 18.
Right.
He said didn't, which is birthed the waiting game chapter.
Right.
But I'm not saying that to say anything, but I'm just saying, like, was it more about you taking a risk and saying, boom, this is what I want and this is what it's gonna be? Because at 18, like, what really do you know?
You don't know much or nothing. It was taking the risk, and then the pregnancy made a big deal. And then also I grew up in a Christian home. So my grandmother, like, you should have been getting married, you're pregnant, you're having a kid. So that's what I knew, and I wanted to live up to that. So that was a purpose for me. Like, I don't want to be single mom, pregnant. I love them. I want to be together. We have a good relationship. But so that was the premise of all of that, to get married. I love them. And then I need to get married because I'm pregnant again. And this fits the Christian household. So
I think it almost shows a sign, or maybe it does, or showed a sign of maturity when you guys chose not to get married with your first child. Right. But you guys did not feel that pressure, especially on you at least, to be like, I need to get married, I need to do this. But you were like, just because I'm having this baby doesn't mean we need to be married. So that's big.
But she also
I wasn't ready yet. But then the second child, I'm like, well,
what you're not gonna do is we're gonna be having these babies and we're not gonna get married. That's what you're not gonna do. So all right, let's get to it. All right.
And
I'm just saying.
I think I proposed to her before we knew.
Yeah.
So I think I proposed to her actually before we even knew. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We did. It was just we got engaged, and then it was like, well, hey, I'm pregnant too.
Yeah.
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah.
So did you know that he was going to propose? Because some people say, some people are just like, look, we've been together, we just gonna get married. I'm just gonna, hey, how you doing? I love you so much, will you marry me? Was it like that, or was it kind of like, oh, Starry Night, like whatever? Hollywood.
He wasn't Hollywood, let's be real. But it was okay, because again, he's 19, 20.
Yeah,
but he had the upbringing of uncles and stuff. So the way he did it was very nice. We had a hotel room.
Hey,
and
he had like flowers and stuff.
My mama over there.
And what your mama say?
Look, she looking at me.
Right, your mama in the background. I mean, hey, you grown now,
Yeah, 20 years later, we're 23.
Right.
Yeah.
Too late.
Yeah. So it was very nice and beautiful, and in the room.
Okay. So did you guys ever break up? Ever take time off where you were like, look, like right now I just need a break from you. Let's just get yourself together. You here, I'm there, whatever.
And 8th and 9th grade maybe, but
8th and 9th grade.
It was like, because I met him during the football season. Yeah, I met him during football season. And then again, we young, 8th grader. Okay. And
right.
After football season, I was like, oh, I don't want him to be my boyfriend anymore. And then coming to our freshman year in high school, we connected, because again, we weren't going to the same school. We connected again, and then we've been together ever since.
I was gonna ask that before they got married, when they said they were something. I was like, did you ever have a break? But clearly, no, they never had they've been together.
What is going on with this couple? So wait a minute, because y'all gonna say you had a break at 8th grade. What? You don't know, 8th grade, I don't know what was going on. I mean, we all had fun. And of course you had boyfriends. Oh, I like him, you got a crush.
Exactly.
But the fact that y'all are actually still going strong 20 years later, that's major. You understand what I'm saying?
And like each other and having a great time.
Exactly. You like, look, you might get on my nerves, but this is what I want. This is,
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. So after South Dakota, did you get married in South Dakota? Did you guys come back home?
We got married up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how long were y'all up there before you moved back or moved somewhere else?
We did 4 years of hard time up there. I mean, four long, hard. Yeah, it was rough. No, I'm just kidding.
Also, the thing about it, I would say we did 4 years, but then we also was in college too. We still was going to college. I mean, we had so many trials and tribulations that could have breaking us up. And then not only after that, we had our 3rd child in South Dakota. So young kids, now because I look back on it, I'm like, how did we survive? Young kids, 23 now probably with 3 kids, 23, and still probably trying to learn ourselves. You know what I mean? At 23 and going to college and working.
Yeah, working full-time job, playing football, dancing. I was a pretty good dancer. She was a good football player. And we worked and made it work, and we learned how to love each other and learn how to love ourselves.
Yeah, that was important. Learn how to love ourselves. Yeah.
Now let me ask you this. Do you think, because people always say this, since you guys have been married for so long, like everybody says you change as you get more in the relationship, and the reason why you don't break up is
evolve, not necessarily change, but more so evolve.
Okay. Yes. So then that means that's what you guys did. You evolved because you're still together.
Yeah. So it had to be some evolving. It had to be some maturity. Mm-hmm. And then the 8th grade Alicia wasn't now the 20-year-old Alicia. No. So him having to learn the 20-something-year-old Alicia and Alicia having to learn the 20-something-year-old Ray, definitely.
20-year-old Alicia. Oh my
definitely.
God. Ooh.
Definitely could be challenges. So yeah, just that was the evolving. And then now the 40-year-old Alicia is different from the 20-year-old Alicia. So
right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask y'all a real question.
Yeah.
Did y'all ever say, "Dag, I think you questioned your decision that you made when you were so young to get married," and say, like, because I know a lot of times Maggie and I discuss this all the time because we're very close to our families. So like, how you go, your mom in the background. That's exactly what my mother would. My mother would be here too, but I said no. And plus she's doing something, she got a podcast too. So that's why, but we're very close to our families, extremely. Mm-hmm. So did you ever question and say, man, I think I made a mistake? Like you allowed somebody, were they saying anything like, oh, maybe I should have married him. Maybe I should just not, I guess just, you gonna be my baby daddy. Or did you say, no, I'm making the right decision?
So for me, I never wanted a baby mama. I never wanted that. So I always said she was gonna be my wife. Like, yeah, I wasn't doing a baby mama. Right. I didn't want that. I always wanted to be in the same house as my kids. And that young lady sitting across from us over there, she instilled that in me. And that's something I always wanted. Mm-hmm. So for me, that was a goal, and I was gonna do, the things that I needed to do to make that work. So it was no other option for me. It was no other option.
Ditto. Yeah.
I think along the same lines when we talk about that family support, even having a child as a senior in high school and then having another younger, it sounds like you both had good support systems within your family units. And I think that probably played a part and helped you guys. Maybe they were pouring wisdom and stuff into you guys to help you work it out. Yeah. But I was going to ask, what are those things that in that 4 years that you were in South Dakota, you talked about evolving, but what are those things that really helped you guys to evolve and work together to say you were going to make it happen?
And not because she's sitting over there, having a mom that I could call and talk to. for me, I know I would call, like, my parents got so smart when I turned like 22. And I remember calling my dad and telling him, like, all that stuff you used to pour into me when I was 13 and 14 and 16 years old, sitting me down and having conversations for 30 minutes or an hour, and me falling asleep and waking back up and he's still talking, all that. Like, you know, he over there right now too. I laughed, but I called him, and because I found myself saying some of the same things or having that thought, like, wow, this is what he was preparing me for, and this is what he was talking to me about. It was like a light bulb just went off, and I was like, I gotta call him. I gotta call him. I can't believe, you know, all the stuff that they poured into me. I'm now seeing, you know, the results of that. And so for me, it was, like you said, a strong family base, and knowing that I wanted to be with her. And like I said, you know, the trials of raising kids, like we know no other life.
Yeah, that's true.
So for me, we don't know being 23 and not having kids, or being 25 not having kids. So we don't know any other life, or even 40 not having kids.
Yeah.
So,
How many kids you have? 3?
4.
Follow her.
So when did the fourth one come along?
Right.
So the fourth one came along.
Wow.
When we were like 29.
Y'all ain't playing 23, 20. Jeez. Wow.
She said, let me keep up.
Y'all ain't playing 18 to 20. All right.
Yeah.
That's a lovely thing.
She praying, honey.
Girl, listen. I mean, you know, okay, so I have a question. What do you guys watch TV, I'm sure. Or you just see how society is these days. We're just basing this off of stereotypes. I'm not talking about anybody specifically. I'm just saying as a stereotypical world, and how many people are not getting married or not finding somebody to be with long term and a longevity for whatever reason. What do you guys think is missing from, I guess, this generation, our generation, I should say? That's like, hello, why people are just not wanting to get married? What do you think is going on?
You want me to say?
Mm-hmm.
Not being friends.
I hear in the background, not being friends.
That's true.
They need to be friends first.
Having a foundation. For me, if I can share anything with anybody, it's having a foundation and not just being the surface issues, being rooted in something.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was, I loved like how faithful she was and how she went to church. And because I didn't grow up with that background that she grew up going to church 3-4 days a week, you know.
6-7 days a week over here, but yeah.
Right, about 6-7 over here. Right.
Not the same. He's saying 3, but y'all know.
Every day now.
And for me, that helped with my strength as a wife, because I grew up with my grandmother. So, and what's different today, I would say, people don't have the friendship and don't have that foundation. They say they have the foundation, but they're most are going on couple goals and not realizing that you have to last through those couple of goals. Just because you see somebody happy and laughing, it's a lot that goes into it. So it's not just the surface. People thinking, oh, we're gonna laugh and hold hands and skip and lolly.
No, it's gonna be seasons.
It's gonna be seasons, and it's gonna be valleys. As long as you try and get to those valleys together, you'll be able to make it. So,
are any of your children? Do they want to get married?
Yes, our children, because they seen what we had, they wanted.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse, because they wanted to do it so young, and we're like, enjoy your life first. You know what I mean? Even though we're happy, but this was where we were designed to, be. But still enjoy your life first and learn yourself first, because we had to learn ourselves in the midst of learning each other.
Right.
So it the roads were bumpy versus learn yourself first and then worry about being in a relationship. So yeah, all of our kids wanted to get married, probably if they could have at 21, but we've been like, no, just wait.
That's amazing. Y'all say no, and you got married at 18.
Because we don't want them to go through the struggles that we went through. You know, we want them to get into their career and be able, like, for me, with my son, so we have it's boy, girl, boy, girl. So, yeah, I planned that out perfect. So,
right, Jesus did that because ain't no other way. Boy, girl, Jesus did that
one. And so for me, it was, go out, get yourself established, get into your career. And then, when you'll have something to bring to the table, then you guys get together and establish that foundation. And then if you want to get married, then get married. And that's for my sons and my daughters. So that's the way I look at it.
I agree.
Ditto. That's so cute.
So that's really advice, because I know we have 25-year-olds watching. I know my nieces and her friends. I know we have, so
everybody's watching.
Right, everybody, grandma,
everybody, all ages.
So that's good advice, to get to know yourself. I know a lot of times I hear people say, guys, go do what you need to do. Women will always be around. But I mean, and I don't really hear that the same for women, right? They always
right.
But to the same extent, like, a woman needs to be grounded and have her foundation. I feel like have some things for her that she can also bring to the table. Although, Ray, this is the question for you. Even though y'all have been married for 23 years, what does a man look for in a wife or a woman? Like, if you're looking at your sons now and telling them what do they look for in a woman, what are those things that you're talking to them about?
That's a good question. Honestly, it really is. I think if I could advise people, because typically they say you marry someone like your mom. Are
you like your mother-in-law? Your mother-in-law?
That's how she knew. That's how she knew.
That's that's her.
How she knew.
For me, I think it's finding someone that you're compatible with on multiple fronts, right? So it's not just someone that you find attractive, or, some people, I don't know, they want to marry someone who's successful, but I think marrying someone who you can have a conversation with and you can laugh and joke with, someone that's going to take your interests, serious, and you are interested in her and what she wants. So it can't be just a one-way street. You have to pour into her, and someone who's willing to be vulnerable enough to allow you to pour into her, and vice versa. You got to let them pour into you.
Nice.
Okay.
And ma'am, what would you tell these women?
Women, especially my daughters, I tell them to look for a man that's going to respect you. Respect is a big thing. Who's going to love you? Who's have your best friend. I would say same thing. Have a good friendship. Who's grounded. I always tell them, because I'm coming from I grew up in a church, who have at least a relationship with God. Don't have to be like in the church and stuff, but at least have a relationship with God and can pray with you and for you. I think that's important. It's someone you feel that can lead, along with the careers and good looks. But that's kind of, my daughter is 23 now, so pouring that into her now is very important. And then going back to loving yourself, I definitely pour into her before she gets into a relationship. Love you first. Understand what you are before you understand how a man's supposed to treat you. So yeah.
Okay. I think a thing now with women being more educated and getting careers and high-paying jobs, a lot of times, especially we as Black women, think that's something positive to bring to the table. But what I'm learning the older I get is that men aren't looking for that. Men are looking for, I see your face. But what I'm saying is, things that we think are super important, a man would be like, or an example is, I could be working at McDonald's. No, not looking down on anybody that works at McDonald's. But if a man sees some qualities, maybe I bring him peace or whatever, he might go ahead and wife me up versus this person that's in a corporate position and is always this boss chick, and she comes with more, like, I don't want to say male qualities, but is always like, you know, whatever, just trying to run things. Men view things differently, and I continue to learn these things. And so that's why I was like, you know, men look for different things than what maybe we as educated Black women think they're looking for.
I don't know about all that.
Okay, you disagree? Okay, why?
No,
you disagree?
I want to know why. Why do you disagree?
I disagree because, like, if a man is like, if you're afraid of your woman being successful, then like you don't really have her interest in mind, and like you're already gonna have some issues. Like there's issues already there. If my wife was making $1 million and I was making $1,000, like I'm not gonna be intimidated by that. Now that may be her issue, and I'm gonna love her the same. Like I don't see that being intimidating to me as a male. Like I'm gonna support her in her endeavor, and I've heard that before. And just for me, I don't. So most of the guys I associate with, right? I haven't had that conversation with them, but I get the same kind of response, I think, from most of the males that I associate with. So I've heard that before from women, but I don't understand that, I guess.
That's interesting because I'm telling you, what's happening these days is exactly what my sister Maggie said.
It's different in these streets from 20 years ago. It's different.
Exactly.
I'm letting you know, brother, this is not the same.
Exactly.
This is not the same.
So what are you encountering now more so?
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you for the question. To be honest, it's exactly what my sister Maggie said. It's almost like, I don't know how to say it and not be offensive. So I'm just going to say, I'm never trying to be offensive, but if I say it, it's almost like sometimes women are kind of put in this position where you got to kind of tone down.
Exactly. And that's what,
a little bit.
I understand that.
In order to, you know, and it's only because out of respect, because we always want to respect our man. So we want to respect him and make him feel like, look, baby, we're in this together.
Right.
We're together. I'm not above you. But society has painted it to where it's like any woman that has any kind of strong, whatever, it'll be like, oh, you got masculine energy. You ain't got no feminine energy. Like whatever the case may be. And it's like, you have masculine energy because you make more money than a man. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm just like, okay.
And I would say one experience I've had in a past dealings. Yeah. I felt like he thought everything was a competition.
Correct.
And I was like, I don't ever want you to feel like it's a competition. You can have everything I have. Like this is just something on my path and on my journey that I'm trying to do, but I'm not rubbing it in your face because I'm doing it. It's just my next step in life. And so that whole competitive spirit, as well as people I don't think value marriage how they once did. And I think that's male and female.
Yeah.
I don't think, especially even we grew up in the church. So even from the church perspective, where growing up in the church, you saw so many different things, or people were hypocrites, or you saw the foundation that marriage was good, and then people ran from the church. So even church kind of messes with you sometimes.
Yeah.
But I don't think they see the value. Like we say, like y'all built together, and we say, we will build with you, man. Like we will build together. But I think a lot of times men, here's the other thing. I've dealt with men that are like, let me get to this position in my job. Let me make sure I have my house. Then I'll bring in a woman. And it's like,
who wants to wait for all
that?
Yeah.
That's just what's happening.
Now that part, I do think that that's an issue for men. Some men, they do want to wait till they get established, or we want to wait till we get established, to where when we bring you in, we have something to bring to the table. And so I do see that, and maybe I don't know. I see that more than men not wanting to be with a woman because he's intimidated.
She's like, child, that's the truth.
No, listen, I've heard it, and You know, it's shown on TV shows and, you know, movies and, you know.
The intimidation comes off differently. Like it's not even because they might never say that they're intimidated. They might not ever do that, but their actions, the way that they move will be like, you're intimidated by me and I didn't even do nothing. I didn't do anything. I'm just existing. But because I think to me is when because I've encountered a lot of males who are dealing with confidence issues. So since they're dealing with confidence issues, I'm going to always be attacked in a way that's like, oh, you think you're better than, oh, you think you're better. And I don't think that at all. I don't. Listen, I grew up in a male alpha household. It was, you know what I'm saying? But I saw my parents work together, period. My dad wasn't over my mom. My mom wasn't over my dad, but I knew my mama knew her place when my daddy said, hold on. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the same, you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But I feel like now, I don't necessarily, not that it's not there, but I'm like, I guess people aren't confident enough to exude that. I have no idea. That's what's going on in the world.
That's interesting.
But if Ray said, he did say men do like to establish themselves. Here's the issue. And I'm not going to say it's an issue. Women, we have biological time clocks.
Hello.
And while these men are out here trying to establish, we're like, I don't want to wait 5 years. I get it. You got to establish yourself. However, I think the difference is, have you truly asked me to partner with you and wait and we're in this together while you establish, or are you out here living your single life? And I think that's a huge difference.
That's a
And
difference.
so I'm like, you go establish yourself and I'm gonna be over here and let me find somebody a little older that's already,
you know what I'm saying?
Already wanting.
Having people, because I think now we're having to and then people are doing this a long time. A lot of people can wait. And sure, we 37, 36 coming on 36.
36, man. Okay.
You got to be 37 next month. Anyway, so 37, 36 is 7. We're at the point where it's like, we're not saying we want to get married tomorrow. That's not what we're saying, guys. Don't be scared. That's not what we're saying.
You're making valid points.
We're not saying that we want to get married tomorrow, but what we're looking for is a companionship, a strong companionship that will lead to more. Not just like, oh, we just, we go out every once in a while, get some coffee and then what? Okay, I just need to know in your mind that you believe in that kind of love. If you don't, then, that, and I'm like, I think I think the thing that's frustrating, like Maggie said, is like, how long you want me to wait? We 37. Am I going to wait till we 47, 45, which that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
So I have a question, because it sounds like for you guys, both of you, you grow up in a couple household. Now that for my kids, does it make it harder for you? Like, gosh, my parents was married. Why can't I get what my parents?
Alicia, my parents, they will be married 52 years in March.
Girl.
52 years. So when you see that and you're like, well, by the time my parents were my age, they were having their 3 kids. And so you see that and you're like, well,
what did I do? Do you think, what did I do?
Can I have something? And I think at first my parents, they probably gonna watch this episode and be like,
And they need to.
But early on, like mid to late 20s, I think, after I graduated college, they were like, oh, my dad was like, who you dating? I was like, Daddy, just last year when I was in college, you didn't want me up and down the road dating anybody. And now you're expecting to have a man that quick. So it's like, it's interesting. They know they took all the pressure off. They're like, when it happens, it's going to happen. I'm like, thank you. Exactly. But it's difficult because you want that family unit. That's what you grew up in. That's what you always aspired to. So I think we put pressure on ourselves.
We do. Society.
And we want that. We do desire that. We do.
And pray for your children, y'all. LD, pray for your kids, because I'm telling you, that some of them, because you might some of your kids might be like this, no, I don't want to get married. You know what I'm saying? But you might, like you said, you have some that do. And I'm just like, okay, the way that the world is set up, it's almost like this. You got to be married. You got to be married. You got to be married. You ain't nothing until you get married. That's the way that you see it on TV. But thank God we have a foundation that's like, he coming. He's just going to come when it's time for him to come.
Exactly.
So, but we do feel, I ain't going to lie. I do feel pressure at times, because I'm like, my parents are living their best life. their best life, going on trips, going over here, going over there, going shopping. They're doing so much together, and they've been doing it 40 some years. And I'm just like, and I know that they pray a lot for us. So
Yeah.
they do, but it's harder because it's like Maggie said earlier, it's not the same. And I don't want it to be the same. I don't want my parents' relationship. I don't want that.
Right.
I want one that's for me.
Right.
But I'm just saying, when it's gonna happen, that's when it to happen, when it's supposed to happen.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm not
So let
rushing.
me ask you this. Do you guys have do you have mostly married friends? Because I think that's the difference. I think
Yep.
what you see and what you hang around and what you experience. I would say even on my Facebook timeline, I see lots of married couples, but in my real life experience, do I have a lot of couple friends around me? I do have people that are dating. I do have a lot of, I feel like older married couples, which I hang with older, younger. I hang with, right, I have a broad friend circle. But when it comes to like people our age between, I'm going to say 34 and 42, people that got married when we were 25, 26, and we were like, dang,
Right.
now are divorced. Like if I could count all the friends and that have gotten divorced, I'm just like, oh my gosh, why can't love, like it breaks my heart because I think family is so important in the way to go. And I think it makes a difference with what we see. So I think maybe, and y'all even being at my cousin's wedding this weekend, I was like, there are married couples. I saw so many married couples at their wedding. I'm like, people are out here getting married.
They are.
But what you see and what you're around a lot sometimes affects your perspective.
Actually,
I have more so. I think my circle is more so married guys.
me, I don't. A lot of my friends that I grew up with, and things like that, they have been married, but they are now divorced. And they are getting wanting the second, even the ones that are in my family, like sisters and stuff like that. I have them. And then the crazy part is they'll be divorced within 10 to 15 years of marriage. So I don't have long-term friendships or people that I know that has been married a long time, to be honest with you, which saddens me because I'm like, dang, where did they go off? Ooh, I don't want to be like that.
Well, you ain't. You're 23 years in. You ain't.
I know, but then it makes you like, when you see people over 23 years and they're divorced, I'm like, well, what happened? When did they not know when it was wrong? So we try and, yes, that's weird.
So how do you, go ahead, Victoria.
No, Meg. Go, Meg.
Well, no, if you were going off that, because I was about to take it to a whole different subject. So go ahead.
I was going to ask him because he said, I have more friends. So you have more friends that are married. Okay. So I want to know, wow. Okay, interesting. Because that's the interesting dynamic. The woman doesn't have many, but the man has more married. Oh, wow. That's such an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, because it seems like mine, they'll get married and then they're divorced. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah. So,
but the men, they in it to win it. So that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so again, hence why I said.
Yeah, that's why you were like, what?
Yeah, like intimidated by their. No, I don't know any of my friends intimidated by their wives.
And Ray is also a coach, so most of the men he's talking about are like in sports and they're coaches and stuff. So
good to know.
That's the majority of his friends. Now you've had some that divorced, but majority of them are still married. Well, his best friend is still married, actually.
Why you said that like that?
But I'm just saying,
you might be watching. I hope they won't watch the show.
Exactly. I was just getting ready to text him and be like, "Hey, I'm on live, man. I need you to." Oh my gosh! My former best friend.
She didn't mean it.
My former best friend. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
That is Maggie. Shifted, Maggie.
So. Alicia, when you said even people that get divorced over 20, 25 years, like what went wrong? You could clearly, like you said earlier, that y'all still have fun, enjoy, and are friends. How do you prioritize your relationship through the years? And now that your kids are older, how do you continue to prioritize your relationship?
Having quality time. So date night, even if we are just going to get ice cream or driving somewhere, we don't make anything elaborate. And just at night, making sure we watch our favorite show together and talk throughout the day, sending little text messages, flirting throughout the day in text. This kind of things we do. One thing that we have done that we haven't talked about, we hadn't done it this year, but we would do a yearly, what is it, a word, and we brought bracelets that will be our word for the year, like encouragement, and then we'll have a scripture with it. So we do things like that, and just try and spend time with one another, constantly making sure we're feeding each other's love language.
Because that changes. It changes over the years.
Okay, so hold on. So you saying that the love language? Can you say that again? Because I heard that you said the love language changes.
Yeah, it does. Remember,
thank you. I said that somebody thought I was crazy.
No, it does. It does. We talked about the evolving and the evolution of Ray. I'm not the same as I was when I was 20 years old, and thank God I'm not, because she probably wouldn't be with me, and she's not the same as she was when she was 20.
Right.
You know, and I mean that in a great way, because I think I love her deeper now. You know what I mean? Like I think I always loved her, but I think now my love is a lot more deeper, and I mean, like I genuinely care what goes on with her, like every moment.
Yeah. Oh.
I know.
They so sweet. What's interesting, I'm telling you, y'all have been, all people say like, oh, he was meant for me, he was made for me, whatever. She, he, she, whatever. And I think that this is clearly evident. Not that it wasn't in the other couples, it was there too. They said it as well, but y'all's is different because hello, 8th grade. I'm like, what? Y'all talking about 8th grade? You know what I mean?
Know, like, we didn't have the romantic, I saw him down the hall, I knew he would be my husband. I just wanted him to be my boyfriend because he was fine, So,
woo, that's a beautiful thing. I'm telling you, y'all don't know. It's a beautiful thing. Because it's very rare that you hear that. Like, most people, it was like, oh, my high school sweetheart or whatever. But y'all got middle school sweetheart. Whatever. And your parents are like, oh, that's my, that's gonna be my son-in-law, whatever the case may be. So you guys are wonderful. So as we close, we got to ask you guys our question. Maggie, ask them the question that you always ask.
Yes. So as we close, what final words of advice, words of wisdom, lesson learned would you share with our audience? It could be for the singles, it could be for the married, whatever, but from the male perspective and the female perspective, one last word or whatever you would like to share with our audience.
I would say, is it cliche, but communicate, have fun with one another. And when you're in the valley of the relationship, stick in the valley knowing you're going to rise the mountaintop. You just can't be in the valley and quit in the valley because you're going to have those valley days, years, months, but continue to go back and realize what was important, what got you through liking that person, loving that person in the beginning, and go back to that moment would be my best advice. A thing that I also learned, because early on it'd be like I would listen to the radio and it was like I stuck with this, like push the reset button. So a lot of days you have to continue to push the reset button and not just push the stop button. Reset the marriage, reset yourself. Also, another thing I would say, even with my friends, I would, in the very beginning, being immature, I would complain a lot. So one of my best friends would say, I'm gonna buy you a book. So Power of the Praying Wife was a good book for me to turn it around to say, not always trying to blame him for everything, but realizing what can I do better to assist and continue to grow. So those were the maturity things I would say that got us through. And, advice for other couples that may be in the valley, just don't give up in that valley during the valley times. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that was beautiful. But the one thing I took about reset.
That is a reset because folks quick to be like, okay, bye.
Yeah. You gotta reset. Press that reset button, girl. I used to tell my friends, "Is this reset button broke?" I don't know.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Ray, anything for the men?
Kind of piggyback on what she said. I really think that, the communication is key, and not willing to give up so easy. Fight for what you want, fight for what you believe in, and you don't have to try to change her, or him. They're gonna change. She brought me closer to God just by her moving closer to God. I started, she was praying. She was a praying wife when I first. She was praying. She was covering. Listen, and I started wanting some of that. I see her over there praying, and I'm like, let me get a little piece of that. I want to start praying like she prayed, and so that forced me to get a better relationship with God and want to communicate and want to not try to change her, but work on myself. So we kind of talked about that, and I think that's one of the big keys for us is loving yourself, working on yourself, knowing that if I can fix myself, no matter what she does, I can accept what she does, and she can accept what I do, and we can move on. Like she talked about going through those valleys, but knowing that you can always come back out on the other side.
Yes. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to say thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
We loved it. It was a beautiful story. The one thing that I love for this show that it's just not, it's for everybody. It's not for single, it's for everybody. Single, married, all races, all kinds, everybody. It's about relationships. So I'm really grateful that you guys came and you said what you had to say, you little middle school loves. I'm still
She said, I'm gonna remember that middle school.
I promise you,
Right.
I'm like, wait, what? Because usually they like, oh, we met in middle school, then, we broke up and went, and I was with somebody else, and then I got engaged with them, and I got, then I came back, whatever. But you guys weren't like that. So, and then you had your little hands with the string. All right. So,
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Right. That is weird, but yes, it obviously it works. You guys are together. You guys are together. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you guys for watching. You already know what to do. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, all those things. Everything will be posted tonight. Make sure you guys tune in next week. Comment, like, ask questions. We're gonna be on the show. Let us know. All right. And we will see you guys later. Have a great weekend. If you're gonna be in them streets, be safe tomorrow with the Braves. Be safe. Yes, yay for the Braves. Woo woo, woo woo. Finally, 26 years. Lord have mercy.
You got Houston fans watching too.
Yes.
Boom, we're not worried about Houston. We're ATL baby.
Okay, hold on. So I'm about to cut it off in 2 seconds. But yes, like I said, Atlanta Braves, 26 years. Boom. All right, love y'all. Bye.